What's going on, Taiwan? Tuo Cruz here with my wife. And today is kind of a sad day. It's our last day in Taiwan, our last day in Taipei. We're leaving tomorrow. I'm going back to Japan and she's going back to Vietnam for 2 more weeks before she heads back to our home in Japan. We've spent an amazing 2 weeks here in Taiwan, from the east side, cycling around Hualien and cycling down from Hualien down to Taichung, cycling through a typhoon, some insane rain, and just seeing some beautiful sights along the way, making our way back to Taipei and just experiencing all of the awesome cycling paths here, all of the different mountain routes, and it's been an amazing, great 2 weeks with lots of good food, delicious food, bubble tea, and lots of good things. So as our sort of last video that we're gonna film here in Taiwan, I thought we'd talk a little bit about our impressions of Taiwan, and this was Tuong's first time coming to Taiwan, so we're gonna talk about her first impressions when she came to Taiwan, and also how her impressions have maybe changed. Let's go ahead and get started. So we'll start with me a little bit. This is my 3rd time coming to Taiwan, and the first time I didn't do any cycling, just did some tourist stuff. And the last time I came here, I did a 2-week cycling trip, so there's a whole playlist for that. If you're interested, you can go watch that. And I just fell in love with Taiwan. I fell in love with the food, I fell in love with the cycling, and I just instantly had a really good impression. So let's hear kind of what Tuong has to think. Let's talk a little bit about this trip first. So the things that we most enjoyed, the food that we enjoyed the most. じゃあ最初はこの旅行で一番楽しかったことは何だった？
楽しかった。毎日美味しいもの食べれる。
So every day we can eat some really good food. じゃあその食べ物の中で何が一番美味しかった？また食べたいなと思ってるのは。
牛肉麺。
Okay, so the beef noodles, she really liked those. We have a lot of noodle culture in Japan, but the beef noodles here is quite different than what we get. The ramen's still really good in Japan, of course, but the beef noodles here, the gyunikumen, it's quite good. We had a separate video for that, so you can go check that out if you're interested in watching us eat beef noodles.
あとは台湾の朝ごはんも美味しい。
So yeah, the breakfast here is really good, really good. Like
very good.
And I'd have to agree, for me, my favorite food here in Taiwan is easily the breakfast. I love the combination of all the different like egg sandwiches, the egg rolls, and the soy milk. It's just perfect. Kanpeki. Yasukute, oishikute, kanpeki. So I'll definitely miss the breakfast here in Taiwan, but we still eat a good breakfast in Japan. We normally cook our breakfast ourselves, but here it's so cheap and so good. Like, in these breakfast places are everywhere. You don't need to make your own breakfast.
作らなくていい。
作らなくていい。
外食毎日。
So we eat out all the time in Taiwan. So I guess, yeah, the thing that we most enjoyed was maybe the food culture here. Don't get me wrong, the food culture in Japan is really good, but it's quite different here because things are just a little bit cheaper, more affordable. Whereas Japan has really good quality, but it's very difficult to find sort of a light snack or just something that won't break your wallet. So yeah, if you eat out a lot in Japan, you're gonna go broke, but eating out in Taiwan's a lot more affordable. じゃあ、綺麗なところとか、どこが一番綺麗だと思った？ Next, we're gonna talk about the most beautiful place that we saw in Taiwan. So we went to a lot of places. Which one did you think?
好きなところは9分。
Okay. So in Japanese we say kyufun. In Chinese it's, I think, jiaofun or jiaofun. Yeah. So we did a really long 100-kilometer ride up into the mountains, straight from Taipei all the way over there. And その日超暑くて大変だった。It was her biggest day of climbing. She climbed 1,700 meters on the bike and on flat pedals. But we were rewarded with a beautiful sight of the ocean from the mountains and just beautiful, nice village there. And of course, lots of good food on that day. So for me, I've been there twice before, but this time was still beautiful. We had the sunset on the ride back, but I think for me, the thing that I thought was the most beautiful was the Taroko National Park. Just absolute beautiful ride. We have another video for that as well. You can check that out. So Taroko and Jiaofun may be the 2 most beautiful sites that we saw. So next, what was the most good point of traveling in or being in Taiwan? 台湾の一番良いところは？
台湾の良いところは公園がいっぱいある。で、その公園でフリーの運動のものいっぱいある。いつも運動できる。それ日本で見えないな。
Okay, so she says that there's a lot of parks here, and those parks are really big, and there's a lot of like athletic equipment that you can use. We had a lot of fun going to those on our night walks after eating a bunch of food. We just stop at the park and do a little workout. And I have to agree, I absolutely love all of the athletic facilities and especially the free athletic facilities, and just the number of athletic facilities. Especially here in Taipei, there's so many parks, there's so many basketball courts, there's so many places where you can just work out, walking paths, cycling paths, tennis courts, and just amazing infrastructure of athletic equipment that you can use. I think that's my favorite part here in Taipei, and it's pretty big in Taiwan too as well. When we were cycling in Hualien, even in the more countryside places, we saw a lot of those athletic facilities. So it's kind of countrywide, I think, not just the big cities. あとは何を？
台北はまあ市場多い。夜でそこでいろんなもの、まあ、ある、買い物もまあ楽しい、まあどこでもある夜市場は。
Another great thing about traveling in Taiwan or living in Taiwan is just there's markets everywhere, specifically the night markets. So we've got night markets everywhere, and it's just a place where you can get a bunch of different snacks. Like the Taiwanese style is kind of just sort of walk and eat, street food style. So you get an awesome little snack at one place, you eat it, you walk, you find another place and you get it. Another good thing about those markets is there's trash cans everywhere. There's no public trash cans in Japan, and in Taiwan there's a fairly decent amount of trash cans everywhere, and these night markets have so much good food. They're so competitive, the quality is usually really good, and of course the price is really reasonable because it's really competitive. So the night market, the food market scene is just awesome. So awesome breakfast, awesome dinner, and for lunch you can go to the build your own lunchbox place. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, all good in Taiwan. Yeah, that's one thing that we enjoy a lot here is the food. So let's talk about things that we didn't like. じゃあ好きじゃないところはあった？
もう漏らしたくない。この間9分に行くとき、トレ行きたかった。トレとペーパーがない。Oh my god.
Oh my god. And so for this one, she's saying there's not much toilet paper in some of the public bathrooms. So I think this sort of depends on where you are, because there are public bathrooms that have toilet paper, but some of the ones while we were cycling, so sort of out in the countryside or like the convenience stores out in the countryside, there wasn't always toilet paper. So if she needed to go to the bathroom, it was a little bit of a problem. But if you just bring your own toilet paper, that's kind of alright. Another kind of unique thing here is the toilet paper you don't put in the toilet. You have to put it in a garbage can next to the toilet. And that can be a little bit shocking for some people if you're not used to that. For me, I guess the part that I sort of dislike is there's quite a decent number of smokers, especially in the city where things are kind of cramped, and the scooter exhaust is really bad. So both of these are kind of related. They're kind of like gas and smoke kind of. So the scooters, the driving in the city doesn't really bother me. I actually kind of enjoy cycling through them, but just kind of the exhaust from the scooters is a bit annoying. So I hear they're trying to switch a lot to the electric scooters, so that would solve that issue. And just, I think they're cracking down on the smoking as well right now, but I didn't see too much smoking inside buildings or inside restaurants. It's just sort of like out in front of the shop while you're walking, and that's kind of like my biggest complaint. Everything is kind of okay. I really like the aspect of Taiwan, how it's kind of a mix in between. So she's from Vietnam, I'm from America. We both live in Japan, and Taiwan's kind of like a mix in between Vietnam and Japan. And yeah, it's got all the good points of Vietnam or China if you want to sort of compare or mix those two together, and the good points of Japan without being too strict like Japan is, but still not like as free as Vietnam or China is, where people still follow the rules and there is a bit more social courtesy or like manners. So overall, very good impression of Taiwan. まあまあいい印象だったね。This was Tuang's first time traveling outside of her home country and our current home in Japan. I think it left a good impression on her. She's got a very happy stomach right now. And so yeah, thanks Taiwan for the great time. We hope to be back sometime in the near future for more cycling for me, and maybe she doesn't want to do much more cycling. Yama kitsui ne, Taiwan no yama. She normally does one ride with me a week, And in Taiwan, we've been cycling almost every day, and some of the mountains here are pretty big, so it was pretty tough on her, but she did a great job. Again, check out our playlist for all of the different cycling videos we did here. She did a great job on flat pedals on a rented bike, and we saw some amazing sights. Anyway, we're gonna end today's video here. Those are our overall impressions of Taiwan, some of the things that we like, some of the things that we dislike, and overall, very positive image. We highly recommend you to go to Taiwan if you're considering going or not. And check out our other videos from our trip here. So if you're interested in Taiwan, Japan, or cycling, be sure to click the subscribe button if you haven't yet already. You can also check us out on Instagram for more up-to-date live information. Yeah, that's pretty much it for right now. Thanks again. We'll see you next time here on To A Cruise. See you later, Taiwan.
Goodbye.